everybody has that one movie that the entire world has seen other than you.
Yep.
For me, Reese, until about a year ago, it was Shrek. It was one of the fucking best movies I've ever seen.
Wait, are you taking Shrek right now?
How,
You're going Shrek.
how can I not take Shrek? What the fuck is wrong with Shrek? Because it's a cartoon?
Carl just walked out of the
not
room
even a
if you're
cartoon.
listening.
I can't tell if that's because of the basketball game or not. What is wrong with Shrek?
Well, I'm pretty sure you could have gotten Shrek in like if this was the old school NFL.
It is
draft
one
where
of the
they did,
greatest
like,
movies
30
of all
rounds.
time. It's the best
could've
like
gotten
animated
round
comedy
30.
ever. It's laugh out loud funny. It's perfect when you're a kid, and then as you get older, there's all these little subtle adult themes. It's got a star-studded cast, an unbelievable soundtrack. It is one of the best movies of all time. It's a fucking comedy. If you're arguing it's not a comedy, you are high off your ball sack.
Okay.
I think it's just about value for me, Dave. It's not a bad movie. I
It's
just think that you could have gotten
dude.
it.
If I haven't
Like 2
done
days.
it,
If the draft spanned 3 days, you could have gotten it.
If-
It could have been Mr. Irrelevant.
you're fucking crazy. You're out of your mind.
Wasn't on my board. On
If
your
this
board?
was if this was a 75 pick draft, you'd probably get it.
That's outrageous. For what reason? Though?
Shrek's great. Don't get me wrong. Shrek's a
is
really
a
good movie.
perfect movie. It's a perfect movie.
I just didn't see this coming. Like just based off of like what you think of like 2000s comedies. It's not to say that you're wrong in many ways. If I'm being like completely honest here, not just to shit on you, it is very funny that
I
you
would
took Shrek
bet.
though.
I would bet, and I'll actually make a wager. I'll bet each of you $100 that out of the 4 movies it's drafted so far, that Shrek's got the highest Rotten Tomatoes on it.
Oh, I mean, sure, but that's because animated, like, people
Yeah.
eat that shit up, dude.
There's nothing to nitpick about that movie. It was a fucking perfect movie. It's the best animated movie I've ever seen.
You know what? I'll take that bet, Dave.
All right, so-
$100.
I'll take that bet.
100 biscuits
$100.
because we're not allowed to illegally wager.
All right, so
I
here,
only-
here we go. 100 biscuits. Good call, Dave. Way to be smart. 88 on Rotten Tomatoes. The Hangover has a 79. Okay, so it beat that. Let's check Superbad. Superbad has 87. So just narrowly beated it out. Wedding Crashers, let's see, 75. And then last is going to have to be Old School. Old School's going to have to beat an 88, which it probably won't.
No.
Um,
Dave's right.
Yeah, 60%. So he owes you.
Well, I can't understand
100
how
biscuits.
anybody on
It's a lot of
planet
carbs.
Earth.
Well, Carl just walked back in. Please explain your reaction.
I
to
mean,
him
I just-
drafting Shrek.
I didn't want to be here for the argument. I know that there's going to be a reaction.
It's-
He's going to say, "What? This is what."
My
I'm saying. I
mind
just
is
don't wanna be here
legitimately
for
blown.
this."
Like, I've made picks before where I was like, fuck, that was a bad pick immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that anybody has a single bad word to say about that movie.
No one does, Dave. It's a great movie. It's there in the 3rd round for you. It's there in the 4th round for you. It's there in the 5th round for you.
What? It's a comedy from the 2000 to 2009.
I know when you liked it, and it's your 1st round pick of the draft, and we'll
You
let
guys are insane.
The
I'm
way
not-
you presented it was very funny too. Just be like, I've never seen this one. It was that movie for me. And then it's like, I'm going to take this green fucking
everybody-
ogre, and that's the guy.
What does it matter if it's a green ogre or dudes crashing
know, it's
weddings
just
or
like-
getting drunk in Vegas? Funny's funny.
I
This just
agree.
happened to be a green ogre. And like I said, the sound, you add the soundtrack to the comedy, you add the cast, you got a perfect antagonist in Lord Farquhar or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It's a fucking perfect movie.
Tom, you seem like you have an opinion on this.
No, I'm just. It's like it's not an argument about whether it's a bad movie or anything
It's a
against
great
it.
movie.
There's so many other classics that.
Yeah.
Of course there
Kind
are.
of.
That's what I said. I
just
mean,
think-
And it's just funny that like your breakdown is coming from like your present day mind, and there's no nostalgic
there-
value.
Yeah, that's
that
funny,
you watched
too.
it as a kid.
I
Like,
wish there
have-
were that nostalgia value,
very
but
good point.
there's so many
That
adult
just makes
themes
it
in
funny.
it.
You're breaking down the villain of Lord Farquhar like as a grown adult in his 30s, not
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember seeing it as a kid
very
in the
good point.
movies. Like that just makes it very funny.
I that's a part of my childhood I wish I could take back, as seeing Shrek as a 10-year-old.
Like for you, Shrek, you'll always think of Shrek as like White Sox Dave in his 30s, not as like little
but,
White Sox Dave.
I mean, you watch. There's some movies you watch that.
Like no nostalgia factor. It's just like I just genuinely enjoy this movie as an adult.
Do you not enjoy?
It's actually one of those I haven't seen it.
You?
Oh,
I've
really?
seen like
Oh,
pieces
okay.
of it, but
Shrek's
I've never.
good.
I'm
Shrek's
sure it is.
It's a fucking perfect.
I know
movie.
Eddie Murphy's the donkey, and
Yeah.
yeah.
What were you
Yeah,
going to say at
dude.
PFT?
Yeah, the fucking one of the greatest comedians of all times in it.
No one's yucking your yum, Dave. I think everybody thinks that it's a good movie, that it's very funny. I think we're just criticizing value here more than we're criticizing the pick itself. And it's interesting when you look at Shrek, because I think it is almost a perfect movie. It's a very good movie. And you go back and you wonder what would it have been like if it was cast as it was originally supposed to be, which was Chris Farley as Shrek.
Oh yeah.
And then he passed away. Mike Myers, I think you can't do better than him in that role. I think he was perfect in that role. But what would that movie? It's like one of those sliding doors moments. What would it have been like? And also, I'm curious about like where you were in your life when you saw Shrek. Is there any attachment? Did you see it with somebody that you cared about, or is there any sort of
I forget
thing that's like
the
making
exact
it really personal to you?
No, this is what it was. I don't want to say arguing, but I was having a back and forth with Rear Admiral on Twitter, and he was ripping on me for never seeing Shrek. I'm like, dude, I mean, Ed, you've never seen, it was Die Hard, I think, right? Have you seen Die Hard?
I have seen Die Hard, yeah.
Yeah, but there was some movie.
Yeah, everyone has.
Everybody has that one movie.
Yeah, you have more than anybody.
No, that's not true.
But I watched it that night, and even as I mean, this is probably about a year ago. I've seen it another time or two since then, and I watched the sequel last night randomly. But
it's fresh in his mind. We just got that's the crux of this. That's the crux of this. He just watched Shrek 2. He's got Green Fiona in his mind.
It is a perfect movie. Like, there's not one bad part about that movie, and it's a comedy. I don't understand how you can say it's a bad pick.
I feel like we got to make like Davey Shrek shirts now or something like that. I didn't know you were such a big Shrek guy.
I left the Shrek pick.
Did Illinois win?
They lost. I came back in, and thanks, dude. You just took Shrek, so we're fine. Everything's fine.
I love Shrek.
I
know the people listening will be on my side on this one.
Okay. All right. Well, this is going to be, here we go. Shrek is going to be the polarizing pick of the draft.
Ken Jack's going to love this.
Yeah. We'll see, too, because this is where it gets hostile, too. Like, I feel like now you're going to be hostile to other people because they were hostile towards you.
Not necessarily.
All right.
I'll speak frankly and from the heart.
So Shrek 5 overall, 2000's comedy movie draft.